stinking paw off me, you damn dirty ape!
No!
Hey, welcome back, ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is everything you have to know about the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy before seeing the fourth installment, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
What a wonderful day!
And by the way, we've got this great, oh wait, I was wrong, it was Earth All Along shirt up at our merch store, ScreenCrushMerch.com, where we design all the merch ourselves. Guys, we love designing these shirts for you. This one, of course, is inspired by one of my favorite Planet of the Apes parodies of all time.
Oh my God, I was wrong. It was Earth all along.
You can find the link for that and many more of the shirts we designed in the description. So, Planet of the Apes is a classic sci-fi franchise that has inspired the genre for more than half a century. This reboot trilogy gave us a first-hand look at what the fall of humanity would look like in a world where apes would rise to power. We kick things off with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which really should have been called Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and Dawn should have been called Rise, but I digress. Rise of the Planet of the Apes gives us the origin story of the young ape Caesar, brilliantly portrayed by Andy Serkis. We've also got this guy from Spider-Man 3 who plays Will Rodman. Now, Will is researching a new drug, a retrovirus designed to cure Alzheimer's.
A gene therapy that allows the brain to create its own cells in order to repair itself.
Will's father, Charles, portrayed by the iconic John Lithgow, has Alzheimer's. Charles having this disease makes developing this drug all the more personal to Will. And Alzheimer's disease perfectly mirrors the downfall of the human mind that is to come.
We try to defy nature, bend it to our will. Nature has been punishing us for our arrogance ever since.
So the testing for this Alzheimer's drug is done on apes in a biolab called Genesis. The ALS 112 drug is proven successful on a female ape called Bright Eyes. After receiving the treatment, she becomes violent and is shot down by lab security. But the medicine didn't cause Bright Eyes to go mad. She was merely being protective of her newborn son, Caesar.
Caesar, a king.
Following the death of his mother, Caesar is adopted by Will and he raises him as his own. Caesar inherits the advanced mind that his mother was giving him from the Alzheimer's meds, making him far more advanced than any other ape. At 18 months old, Caesar was signing 24 words. When he was 2 years old, he could complete puzzles, and at 3 years old, he became a master chess player. Caesar's heightened intelligence makes him as self-aware as a human, making him able to question his own existence. Caesar eventually questions Will on whether or not he's a pet.
You're not a pet. I'm your father.
The same drug that heightened Caesar's intelligence temporarily cured Will's father of Alzheimer's for about 5 years, but it eventually returns.
Antibodies. His system has found a way to fight the 112 virus so that it can't deliver its therapy.
Will's father gets confused and gets in an unruly neighbor's car by mistake. This leads to Caesar jumping in and defending his adoptive grandfather, but he loses control and bites the neighbor's finger.
It's okay. I didn't mean it. It's okay.
This results in Caesar being locked up with other apes in a shelter for primates via court order. For the first time in his life, Caesar is around other apes, and he realizes how different he truly is from his own kind. Caesar and the other apes are mistreated at the shelter, and this fuels the rage within Caesar.
It's like he's thinking or something.
Caesar has trouble fitting in, but only at first. He befriends the biggest and strongest ape at the shelter and then asserts himself as the leader of the pack. One night, Caesar breaks out of the shelter and brings back canisters of the Alzheimer's drug, giving his fellow apes the same heightened intelligence as Caesar. And remember, Caesar inherited his intelligence from his mother, meaning that the future offspring of these apes will inherit advanced intellect as well.
Are we thankful for the words of Caesar?
Caesar frees the apes from the shelter and the testing labs as well as the San Francisco Zoo. He then leads a rebellion and liberates himself and his fellow apes. Simultaneously, the newest version of the drug, ALZ-13, causes a lethal illness in humans called the simian flu. This guy, Robert Franklin, gets exposed to ALZ-13 after a test on an ape called Koba. This flu begins to spread after Robert sneezes on an airline pilot. It kills many humans, wiping out a significant amount of the human population.
There's a virus that made apes smarter and almost killed all of us. This was a human place with human ideas. It was not meant for apes.
It is now.
It's also in Rise that we get this fun little Easter egg featuring the Icarus space shuttle. Now, in the original Planet of the Apes film, it's an astronaut lost in time who finds himself on a strange alien planet run by apes, only to later find out that it's a future Earth.
You maniacs!
I'm hoping that we'll eventually see an installment of this rebooted franchise that follows up on this Easter egg planted in this first installment. Anyways, Rise ends with Caesar and his large family of advanced apes making their way into the woods, while human civilization crumbles around them. And when Caesar and Will part ways for the final time, Caesar says,
Caesar is home.
Next came Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Again, these titles really should have been swapped, but whatever.
It makes no damn sense. Compels me, though.
So, Rise of the Planet of the Apes started in 2011 and then had a 5-year time skip. And Dawn of the Planet of the Apes picks up 10 years after that, setting it in 2026. Caesar and his colony of apes are residing in those same San Francisco woods where we last saw them in Rise. Now, there's a group of surviving humans living in the city. Many of the apes fear and dislike humans, and you can't blame them. Many of them were severely mistreated by men before and after the Ape Rebellion. This group of humans venture into the woods where they encounter advanced apes, and this hothead shoots one of them.
They're talking apes with big-ass spears!
Please.
Caesar is a reasonable leader, and he doesn't hate humans, but Caesar is put in an awkward position following them shooting one of his own. He allows the humans to leave, but later, he and an army of apes travel to the city. Caesar declares that the apes don't want war, but they are prepared to fight if they must.
Ape! Home! Human! So! Do not come back.
Despite Caesar's warning, a former architect named Malcolm ventures back into the woods. The human colony needs to repair an old water dam that can return power to the city. But in order to access the dam, Malcolm and his group must negotiate with Caesar. After some convincing, Caesar allows the humans to enter their domain and repair the dam. Koba, who we met in Rise, does not trust humans. He hates humans following the excruciating pain and torture he was put through for their experimentation.
Human work. Human work!
Koba begins plotting to overthrow Caesar and jeopardizes the goodwill that has been formed between these two groups. Gary Oldman's character Dreyfus, the leader of the human colony, shares a similar distrust and disdain for the apes and prepares for war.
They're animals!
Koba orchestrates an attack on the apes' home by setting fire to their colony, and he shoots Caesar. He then frames the humans for the attack in order to convince the apes to attack the humans. Caesar is believed to be dead, but he's found by Malcolm and the others. Koba imprisons all apes that remain loyal to Caesar, such as his old friend, Maurice. Caesar's eldest son, Blue Eyes, is put in an awkward position. He doesn't hate humans, but he's angry with them because he thinks they killed his father, so he briefly stands with Koba.
Apes together! Strong!
But once he finds out that his father is still alive and that Koba staged the whole thing, he joins Caesar and the humans.
Father, let me help you.
They then attempt to stop Koba and Dreyfus from beginning a war between the apes and humans. Malcolm confronts Dreyfus and discovers that he has lined a skyscraper with explosives. Dreyfus then detonates the explosives in an attempt to wipe out the apes and save mankind. Caesar and Koba fight, and Koba falls to his death.
You come at the king, you best not miss.
Malcolm then warns Caesar that a human military was contacted by Dreyfus and that they're on their way. Caesar convinces Malcolm and his family to leave while Caesar and the apes prepare for war.
War has already begun.
War for the Planet of the Apes picks up 2 years after the events of Dawn. A human militia group is in search of Caesar and his apes. Caesar's son, Blue Eyes, and Caesar's wife, Cornelia, are killed by the human militia in an attack on the colony. But Caesar's youngest son survives. Caesar travels to the oasis that Blue Eyes had founded as a potential new colony for the apes. Caesar is attacked by one of the human militia members and is forced to kill him in self-defense. Caesar then finds the man's daughter, who is mute as a result of the simian flu. Maurice names the girl Nova. The Colonel, played by Woody Harrelson, is the leader of this militia group called the Alpha Omega.
I came for you.
Who did I kill that night?
My wife. My son.
When Caesar and the Colonel come face to face, the Colonel tells Caesar about the simian flu having evolved. There's a mutation that doesn't kill humans, but instead affects their brains, specifically the speech portion of their brain.
Why did they shoot you?
humans lose the ability to speak and their brains revert in intellect to a more primitive form, explaining why humans are more caveman-like in the future world that we see in the classic Planet of the Apes films, as well as in this new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie.
No matter what you say, you'd eventually replace us. That's the law of nature.
The Colonel has ordered his militia to kill other humans that carry the infection in order to stop the spread of the illness. This has resulted in a conflict between the militia group and the other human leaders who are searching for a cure. Caesar is being held captive by the Colonel while the other apes are being used as slave labor. Ironically, the Colonel becomes ill and loses his ability to speak as a result of being infected with the simian flu. The Colonel then takes his own life. War breaks out between the human groups and the escaping apes are caught in the middle. Caesar attempts to aid in the destruction of the militia, but he is then shot down by the Colonel's right-hand man, Preacher. Red, an evolved gorilla who is a former follower of Koba, redeems himself by betraying the militia and saving Caesar. Caesar then successfully blows up a fuel tank and causes an avalanche that completely levels the militia. Caesar, Nova, and the other surviving apes travel to the oasis that Blue Eyes had discovered. Caesar is fatally wounded during the war. As Caesar and Maurice sit and look out at their new home, Maurice promises Caesar that his son, Cornelius, will grow up knowing what Caesar did for the apes and securing their future. Surrounded by his people and the peaceful surroundings of their newfound home, Caesar is finally able to let go, and the King of the Apes passes away. The next installment of the franchise is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, picking up 300 years after the events of the reboot trilogy and showing us the future that came following Caesar's sacrifice and the liberation of apes. But Caesar's dream of peace and equality between apes and humans has not been realized.
Apes hunt humans. That is wrong.
Well guys, that's our recap of everything you need to know before seeing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Remember to check out our merch store link below to get your very own "Oh wait, I was wrong, it was Earth all along" shirt. Guys, big shout out to the writer of this video, Colton, Ogburn, and Pavel T, the editor. You can find their social links below. So, what do you think? Are you stoked about the new movie? What's your favorite Apes film? Let us know in the comments or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.